Hey guys, welcome to Tech Vitals. Today we are going to learn about how to work with dates and times in Python. It is extremely important to know how these dates and times work in Python or in any programming language because we'll be using the dates and times for any kind of application. So let's dive in. To work with dates and times in Python, we have a built-in module called datetime. So we can simply import this module datetime. And now let's start with the date. So for example, if you want to get the date of today, we can type datetime.date.today. And now if we print this today, we should get the date of today. So today is April 30th of the year 2022. So let's try to print this. And here we got 2022 4/30. So that is April 30th of 2022. Now let's say we just want to have the value of the year. Then to do that, we can do year equals today.year. And now if we print this year, we get 2022. That's the value of year. Now to get the value of month, we can type today.month. And now if we print month, we get 4, that is April. And likewise, if we just want to get the value of day, we can type today.day. So this should return 30. Let's print and we get 30. So datetime.date.today will give us the whole date, that is the year, month and the day. And if we want just the individual value, then we can also access the year, month and day. Okay, now this is the values for today. We can also give our custom date values. So let's see the example. Let's say d equals, we'll type datetime.date. Now in the parentheses, we can give our own values for the date. Now the first value should be the value for the year. So let's say 2022. The second value should be the value for month. Now let's say we want to use the value for January, we can type 1. And the last value should be the value for day. So let's say 10. So here we are giving the value of 2022, January 10. Now if we print D, we get 2022, 1, 10. Here also we can access the individual values by simply typing d.year, d.month and d.day, and we can get year, month and day. Here we can also change the format of how it is displaying the date. Now here, if you see the format, it is displaying the date as the value for the year in the beginning, the value for the month in the middle, and the value for the day at the end. But let's say we want to change this format. We want to display the month value in the beginning, the day value in the middle, and the year value at the end. Then we can also do it using one of the functions. So let's see the example. Let's remove these. Now we want to give our own custom format. So let's say custom date equals d.strftime. Now this is the function we can use to give our own custom format for the date. And inside this parenthesis, we can give the format. So let's type %m dash %d dash %Y. Now here, these %m, %d, %y, these are called directives. So %m is the directive that is used for the month value. %d is the directive that is used for the day value. And %y, the capital Y, is the directive for the value of year. So here we are simply saying that we want to have the date in the format of month dash day dash year. So if we print custom date, as you can see, we get the value in the format of month dash day dash year. Let's say you don't want to use dash in between these values. Let's say you want to use slash. Then we can simply change this dash with slash. And now we get 1/10/2022. Now let's say for the month value, instead of displaying 1, you want to display the name of the month. So instead of this 1, you want to display January. Then you can simply replace this M directive with capital B directive. Now if we run this, we get January instead of 1. So we get the name of the month. Now instead of using this slash, we can just use January 10 and then comma 2022. So this looks a nice format, January 10, 2022. So this is how we can use the custom value for the date, and we can use the custom format for the date. Now in Python, we also have something called time delta, and time delta is simply the time difference between any two dates. So let's see the example of time delta. Let's remove this custom format. Now let's say delta equals datetime dot time delta, and let's say days equals 10. So here we created a time delta for days equals 10. Now if we print D, then we will get this date 2022 1/10. So if we print this, we get 2022 1/10. But now let's print D plus delta and let's see what we get. Okay, so this is the value of D, which is 2022 1/10, and this is the value when we added D with delta, and we are getting the value 2022 1/20. So this is basically the future date, that is the date after 10 days. So here, instead of 10, if we type 5, now we are making the time difference for 5 days. And now if we add this delta with this D, it will add 5 days on this date. So if this date is January 10, then after adding the time delta for 5 days, we should get the date of January 15. So now if we run this, we get January 15. Likewise, if we print D minus delta, now this should give us the date before 5 days. So let's print it. And as you can see, when we type D minus delta, we get 2022 January 5. So this is the past date. Now for the good example, let's get the date of today. So today equals datetime.date.today, and let's create a delta, datetime.time delta, and let's say days equals 5. Now after 5 days, it will be today plus delta, and before 5 days, it will be today minus delta. And let's also use the custom format. So custom today dot time. Let's use the month name, day, comma, year. For custom after 5 days will be after 5 days strf time, and we can use the same format. And custom before 5 days, so it will be before 5 days dot strf time, and we'll use the same format. Okay, so let's print today equals, that will be custom today, print after 5 days equals custom after 5 days, and before 5 days equals custom before 5 days. Now let's print, and as you can see, today is April 30th 2022. Now after 5 days it will be May 5 2022, and before 5 days it was April 25th 2022. So using the time delta, we can work with the future as well as past date. Okay, so this is how we can work with the dates. Now let's see how we can work with times. So let's get rid of all of these codes. Okay, so for the date, we work with year, month, and day values. For the time, we have to work with hour, minutes, seconds, and microseconds values. So first, let's get the current time. Let's say now equals datetime dot now, and let's try to print this value now. And as you can see, this returned date as well as time. So we can use datetime dot now to get the date as well as time of right now. But let's say we just want to get the time, so we can simply type dot time, and this will only return the current time. So if we run this, we get the time. So this is the hour value, this is the minute value, this is the second value, and this is the microsecond value. So right now it's 3:16 p.m. here, and it is using the 24 hours time format, so that's why it's displaying 15. That basically means it's 3:16 p.m. Now if you just want to get the value of hour, then you can type now dot hour. If you want to get the value of minute, we can type now dot minute. For the second, now dot second, and for microsecond, now dot microsecond. And let's also print the full time. Okay, so here this is the full time, 15 hour, 18 minutes, 28 seconds, and this microsecond. So here we get the hour value, this is the minute value, this is the second value, and this is the microsecond value. And just like we use the custom format for the date, we can also use the custom format for the time. Let's say you don't want to display this microsecond value, you just want to display the hour value, minute value, and second value. We can do that by using now dot strf time, and inside this parenthesis we can give the format. So for the hour we can use capital H directive. For the minute we can use capital M directive. And for the second, we can use capital S directive. Now let's get rid of these other values. So here we want to print the current time in the hour, minute, and second format. So if we run this, we get 15, 21, 12. Now this is using the 24-hour format. That's why it's displaying 15. But let's say we want to use the 12 hours format. Then we can just replace this H with I. And if we run this now, we get 3. So right now it's 3:22 p.m. And since we are using the 12 hours format now, it's displaying 3 instead of 15. Now we can also use the custom time. So let's say custom time equals datetime dot time, and inside this parenthesis we can give the values for hour, minutes, seconds, and microsecond. So let's give the value 5 for the hour, 30 for the minute, let's say 10 for the seconds, and for the microsecond let's give 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we can print custom time, and we get 5 hours, 30 minutes, 10 seconds, and this microseconds. Okay, now just like we use the time delta in date, we can also use the time delta for time. So let's use the current time. So let's say now equals datetime dot now, and let's use the delta as datetime dot time delta, and let's use hours, let's say 10 hours. So we are giving the 10 hours difference. Now the current time will be now dot time. If we type now plus delta, it will give us the date time after 10 hours. Now to only get the time, we can use the time function, and if we type now minus delta, it will give us the date time before 10 hours, and we can use dot time to get the time only. Okay, now let's try to print this. Okay, so the first one is the current time, and to make it easier we can also use the strf time, and let's give the 12 hours format. So %I, then %M, and %S. We can simply leave the microseconds, and let's use the same format for the future time and the past time. Now let's run this. Okay, so the first one is the current time. So now it is 3:33 p.m. and 32 seconds. After 10 hours it will be 1:33 a.m. and before 10 hours it was 5:33 a.m. If we just use the 1 hour difference and let's try to print it. Now right now it's 3:35 p.m. After 1 hour it will be 4:35 p.m. and before 1 hour it was 2:35 p.m. So this is a little bit easier to understand than the earlier example. Okay, so this is how we can work with the time. Now the important thing to notice here is here we are using datetime, the datetime.now. So this will give us the current date and current time, but this is my local time. That means right now, let's say if I'm in California, then this is giving me the date and time for the California. But let's say you are in somewhere else, let's say you are in Japan, then this time will not be the same as yours because we are in different places, so we have a different time zones. So this date and time is not time zone aware because this date and time is not true for all of us. So let's say right now you are in Japan and you are using the same code, then this output will not be the same for both of us because we have a different time zones. So that can create a conflict if we are working on a same application from different time zones. That's why when working for the projects, we mostly use the UTC time. To work with the UTC time, we have to use an external library called pytz. And since pytz is an external library, we have to manually install it in our system, which we can do using the pip command. So if you don't have pytz installed on your system, you can go to your terminal and type pip install pytz to install pytz on your system. And since I have already installed it in my system, I can simply go and import pytz. Now to get the UTC time, I can do datetime dot now tz, that is time zone, equals pytz dot UTC. So this will give us the current date and current time as per UTC. Now we can also print now underscore UTC. So if we run this, as you can see, right now in my local time zone, it's 15:43 p.m. That means 3:43 p.m. But as per UTC time, it's 19:43 p.m. That means 7:43 p.m. So we can use this one, that is now underscore UTC, for the universal time zone, so that we don't have the time zone conflicts in our application. Alright, that's gonna do it for this video. I'll see you soon with the next video. Till then, keep learning. Goodbye.